yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that stream for today, as we're remembering a gentleman by the name of Justin Carmical, aka Jew Wario. It's a remembrance stream for him, impacted our lives, and the shame. It's a shame what happened in terms of it's been, because it's not a stream where we're going to sit down and feel down about it. We're going to remember Justin's memory, the positives that he had. And I think there's one thing that I could take from 20. He's been very angry, very aggressive,
Right?
very negative this year, and I think it's time to put some positives back and do something in his memory. Um,
Yeah.
because Justin, if you've ever been on his live streams on Google Plus, he talked about how each and every one of us was important to him. I remember a stupid, that if you ever needed him or need someone to talk to, just come find him, and that kind of echoed in my ears, and it was one of the things that I said when I did. It was one of the things that kind of knocked me for six, in a sense. I used to watch Justin's videos religiously, um, from the point of day, and went out on his own, and he was a guy who had amazing production value on his videos, but was kind of a sleeper hit on YouTube. Not most people didn't know who he was. He had like a few different projects. He had the UK Playlist series, where he would talk to you about different games from Japan, and tell you how you could play it, and then talk about if the game can actually be played, and the ability to just pick up the pad and you know basically play through the game without assistance. And a lot a lot of these, like as well, from people who wanted to take a look at certain games like the Final Fantasy VII for the NES, which was horrible, by the
Oh,
way. Yeah, it was a horrible hack of Final Fantasy, stuff like that for it. But it was just it was something that was
oh.
extremely difficult for no reason. Um,
There was also this one where I think you reviewed all this Japanese candy.
yes,
Like,
he did
yeah,
like
this was like a little.
he did his about Japanese candy and stuff that they loved, um, and he also did the pipeline, where he would review certain products. Like this would be like new stuff, stuff from yes Vita TV, which has now come out as a Sony PlayStation TV. So he did that, and there was also the barcode series, called Scan This. Scan This is he would always start it off by basically trying to scan something, and he would get really pissy, and then just go, "Why
Oh,
would you scan this?" And then the whole intro comes in. It was a great series as well. It showed how multi-talented he was. Like the You Can Play This series had an ingrained story, because everything guy with the glasses always had a story to it. There was
yeah.
there was kind of a story that ran along the show, to seeing how he went from there to I believe it was Retroware. He joined, like he was a huge fan of the Game
Huh?
Chasers. He used to do all the retro
Yeah.
cons, and it was one of those things where you could see how much love he had. He used to do all these live streams, and he was, I wouldn't say he was earning a modest living on YouTube, but it was kind of secondary towards what he like did in real life, because he had a real job as well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was one of those things where he wanted to invest a lot more time into it, and you could tell the time that he spent was a lot. And speaking from
Yeah.
someone who's basically does a lot of YouTube himself, it takes a lot to put one video out. If you're looking for high production value, you've got to have the skills to kind of put the video together. Then there's the editing process afterwards, after you shoot it, and a lot of videographers can do it, within maybe 30 to 40 to produce one video on, and that's with editing and production, um,
Oh,
of game theory. That's a lot of time.
jeez.
That's a lot of energy you're putting into something, and I think, you know what, it's amazing, um, and it's difficulty he had trying to get this done. But then he
Mhm.
had another ambitious project that he did, which was the Famicom Rider. Um,
Oh, I
um,
still have that song stuck in my head sometimes. It's Fami Kamen. I think one of the girls in that guy with the glasses sang the song, I think. I don't remember rightly, but it was someone that he probably knew from there, a friend of his who did the song. I don't know, I'm probably completely wrong, but
so tell me, Sarah, how did you find Jew Wario?
I think I found him from that guy with the glasses. It was a pretty long time ago. Like, you know, they had the Nostalgia Critic and Angry Joe as religiously as some people did. Like, I followed him for a while, like, oh, that's a cool video, and just like watched through a lot of You Can Play This. And then I think I stopped watching for a while. I never got around to watching it. And then, so I hadn't watched his stuff for at least a few months. And then I heard about that, and I'm like, oh, which kind of sucks, but maybe I'll try now.
Yeah,
But
so
when I did stuff, I really enjoyed.
yeah, no, it's the same. I love it.
I
It's
haven't been able.
annoying
I tried
how
once a few months ago, and I couldn't finish it. I can't watch this stuff anymore.
yeah, I was basically how
Do
am I supposed
that,
to watch
yeah.
something when I know you're gone? And it's
Maybe we'll be brave one day and we'll watch one. After this. Sorry.
you look at it and you try and feel like you know how someone who important followed him closely. I watched his streams. You know, he wasn't as close to me, kind of as he was to like Billy and Jay, the Game Chasers, because
Yeah.
they hung around him. They knew him in person.
It's kind of like how often I watch Markiplier these days. Like I haven't really talked to him at all, but I watch his stuff so often that it feels like I kind of know him, sort I can make. But
There's certain
yeah.
YouTubers who will only let you see some certain things, you know,
Sorry.
um,
Yeah.
and then there's others, and I think
Hmm.
Justin was one of those. You know,
I think
the
it
guy who
depends what kind
saw,
of.
yeah, it's like the
So
guy.
some people are comfortable with just being like, I'm here anyway, so here's stuff about me, and other people keep life separate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
um, you know, and it's and how much you kind of miss him. You know, it's been a year and I
Yeah.
still expect to see a new UK played in this video. Because he was so entertaining, and as a person, he was such a loving human being. It,
Yeah.
I never understood people like that in this world, and you get like a lot of, and he was a shimmering
That's
light,
yeah.
and he just, and when it came, you know, to it, when he's now no longer there, and I sit there and I think, why, you know, why? It's a shame.
It's a real thing to process
Yeah, it's
in
very hard.
itself. It's not really something you get over.
Yeah.
You doing okay? You holding up okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to. The thing is, guys, I'm doing this verbatim. I'm doing this. I'm speaking candidly from my.
Scripted, so yes, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Um,
Yeah.
and the problem is, I'm trying to do it without, you know, falling into deep depression, because as the days leading up, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how can anybody be prepared for this? Who owns the You Can Play This website, who has bought
Yeah.
it, and is trying to use it as a way to wager money off of people. Someone's bought because
So you get to say gave up?
I was
Boy,
checking the
jeez.
status from his lovely other half, who talks very candidly about him, and she's doing
Hopefully
okay.
she's
Yeah,
well,
she's doing okay.
I guess she
Um,
can be, yeah.
but one of the things that she talked about was the fact that someone has taken the You Can Play This thing. They've
That's, that's dumb.
yeah. Two sexy people, remember? Sexy person salute.
Well, what is the flail?
Lil.com. Um, I'm trying to figure out who
I
you are. Hopefully, you're someone nice.
hello.
But yeah, so I'm sharing this at the moment. You want to join in, you can do and speak your thoughts about Justin by adding me on Skype, Michael Burhan01. It's one word, all lowercase. Add me, I will add you to the stream. All you got to do is just give me a message. You can share your thoughts. Let's talk about another episode. We were just actually watching while I was trying to prepare for this, which was the Game Doctor episode. Now that cracked me.
I like the Yankee. Yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, he's basically arguing with his brother that he portrays as well. So he's got like this twin brother, Game Doctor, and he was talking about like taking the prongs out of your Super Famicom, so that you can play Japanese carts on it. And he's like, yeah, so you can use the Game Doctor, and he's like, what? So funny in that video. He's always funny. He's always spot on in terms of his comedy, and and it was just like he talked about that, and throughout the whole video, he kept going on about the fact that he didn't want to get sued.
Nice.
But it is one of those things that was really sketchy. At the time, it was very sketchy because I had a friend of mine who owned one of those.
Oh God!
And he used to rip my cart. He came to my house and literally ripped my cartridges within a day. That would be great. I don't have one of these. Like, well, you can play.
Unless you want to lend me yours.
Yeah, so let me borrow it for a day.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, but it was. And she goes, P.S. Anyone heard the conversation between Dory and Sarah from Dragon Age about mages and their magic being their tool? Hilarious stuff.
Wait. What?
What
have I done? What have I done?
Sorry, man. This is Chris. Let me change. Here we go. It was Chris. Pixels Without Borders. He's on the street. Chris, can you share us a little a little experience that you've had with Justin? When did you first see his videos? So while he types that in on the chat, you can also join us on the chat. If you go and click on this video, go straight into our live. So the fun thing about it as well, even after kind of his life ended, he kind of united people. The whole gaming community went on for his funeral, which I thought was awesome. I contribute to that myself. We talked about it on the Retro Island live stream, and raised funds for it, and it was his life had ended. Shows you how much people loved him, how dedicated they were to him, and this was just some dude in a Wario hat. Do you know what I mean? How awesome is it that and I remember when he secured the funding for the Famicom Rider series, he was talking about the fact that he had financial troubles, and people were just like, use that money, and he refused outright. He didn't want to touch it. He wanted to base.
That's work money.
Yeah, definitely, and it shows how he never had a bad bone in his body. He was just such a nice guy, and I do so much for everybody without even doing anything. Chris said I actually saw him via Spoonie, Noah Atweiler, through the Guy with the Glasses network and so on. I enjoyed the hell out of his videos because he talked imports which nobody did, and I was so gutted when I heard about his passing. And it's you can sit there and also he never knew anyone in the Guy with the Glasses. He was one of those guys who contributed his YouTube videos via that Guy with the Glasses, and because they used to have a forum where you could basically do community videos, and they asked him to join after watching his videos, and it's a big thing. It was a big thing for him. I remember he was so happy. The Nostalgia Critic talking about it a little bit, Doug Walker saying about how he always used to add life to everything, even with the whole when he was playing David Bowie, his character.
That was awesome for Labyrinth. That was amazing.
Yeah, every time he would do that character, you would just see the girls from that Guy with the Glasses and their hearts flutter over him.
Yeah,
he knew how to make you laugh. He was just so organically funny, and so hilarious at the same time. it's amazing what one person could do and how skilled he was, how talented he was. Is there any other?
Just trying to remember. It's honestly been a while since I've seen them. I think I just sat down and watched a whole bunch of them at once. I do remember when he did a review of, what was it, Interstellar 4-5, the Daft Punk movie.
Yeah.
I watched that a few months ago. It was him, the two girls. It was nostalgia chick, her friend, Nora, Nina, one of those, the adorable girl with the glasses, and then it was stuff. I think her name was Jess. I don't remember anybody's names, but it was him and then 3 girls, and they were in a hotel for a con, and then they're like, "Hey, so we're gonna watch this," and then he's like, "Oh, cool, okay." So they just all watch it, and then it's like kind of a commentary as they're watching it. I was like, "Oh, that's a hangout moment for them as well," because you could kind of tell that they were all friends, or he was friends with everybody. I think it just had that effect on people. One of those people that you can't hate. It's like, why would you ever hate this person? That's not a thing at all, ever.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
You know, and the funny thing about it as well, he used to do did this thing as Mario. He would go on stage and do stand up as Mario. And
I think I kind of remember that. Not really. I might have seen that like in one of his videos. Sounds familiar. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, he'd basically come on as Mario and in this kind of what would I say, would like be Boston? No, it would be more Bronx. He'd be talked like he's from the Bronx.
Yes, New York accent.
And
yeah.
Do more candid comedy about Princess Peach. He'd do stuff about Luigi, and it was hilarious. And it was one of those things where it was enjoyable as hell. It was Chris said that with his passing, it gave him strength. Eventually, to talk about his own depression and announce it so that people might even understand it as a serious thing. And that's the truth. Depression it can hit you at any time. You know, no matter who you are. You could be the strongest of anchors when it comes to people, but depression is a big thing. It's something that you can sit there and you could deal. You know, you can supposedly deal with. Feel like you're fighting a losing battle because you're on your own. You know, you feel like you're.
It doesn't have to be triggered by anything in particular either. It can just be like, what? It can just sort of happen.
Rewind Mike on the board as well, and he says I didn't hear about it till after he passed. I started to watch some of his videos. You can tell through the camera that he was a genuine person. Hi Rewind Mike, hi Retro Gamer Tim. It's nice to join us on the stream. And yeah, no, I love one of his the whole Labyrinth one. His David Bowie just always cracks me up, especially it's just so hammy. And there he goes. There was a Game Chaser video made in his memory that I watched. I didn't cry, but I remember like Xander, Steven, like everyone was trying to cheer me up, and I wasn't having it. I just was curled up in my bed. I was in tears, you know, and I couldn't get up. I didn't have the strength to get out of bed and do anything. You know, it was one of those situations where I felt like I lost someone important to me, like, you know, I lost a loved one. You know, another positive he did, he got me to talk candidly about my depression, because it's something
That's
I went through for years.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yep. Not the greatest of circumstances, but it worked. Yeah, I was actually at work. Well, I found out the day afterwards, so I think it was on the 24th. It was a Saturday. And maybe it was the 25th or something. Maybe it was today. Yeah, I was about it. And so I'm like, what the hell? This must be a hoax. It must be like some horrible trolling thing. So I looked on the article. It's like, no, it's real. And I'm like, oh, shit. I was like shaking. And I went back into work. And I'm just thinking like, can I do the rest of the day? Yeah, probably. I'll just focus on not thinking about it. And I did. But then when I started talking on a Thursday.
Yeah, we did.
For the 5 days afterwards, like I was working, but when I got home, I'd just lie on the couch and not really do anything.
Yeah.
Like there was one point where I couldn't get to sleep or I couldn't get to bed, so my boyfriends picked me up and carried me to bed. It's almost like I don't want to move. I don't want to do anything. Yeah, he understood though. It was good.
One person united an entire community.
That's very true.
You know, guys like the Happy Console Gamer, Johnny Millennium did a video on him. The Game Chasers talked candidly because they, you know, he was extremely tight with these guys for the short time he was with them.
Oh, that videos that came out of that in the next couple of weeks, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like some people that we know now from the podcast, I actually first saw in those videos. I didn't really make the connection till later. I'm like, oh.
I am a floating head. That always cracked me up. I just, you know, he had this thing where he was so childish but so funny at the same time. You know,
Grown up kids, yeah. A lot of people are like that.
It's like the majority of us out here who do it. You know, yeah, I'm a complete nut. And he always just used to do like little things like that. His comedy held no bounds in a sense. I watched his Back to the Future video as well. He did a Back to the Future video that included a little spot from James Rolfe. You had the Nostalgia Critic playing Doc Brown. That was one of my
Yeah. What part did James play then? Was he Marty or was he somebody else?
Hey, Retro Gamer Tim.
Hi.
Tell us your memory of Jew Wario, Tim. What have you? What's your memories? But yeah, when he did that one, it was a kind of a cool video because it did his little bit as Doc Brown, so he was playing that character, and then you had this bit where Jew Wario was talking to him like from the past.
I did see that video
because Doc Brown visited him.
That was really...
And he did the video talking about the game, and he's like, "There's naturally a good Back to the Future game," and it was the one from Japan where it was, and you had to complete.
It was a platformer, yeah. It was so cute.
It was so cute, and it was really, really good as well at the same time. And it, and that video was the one that caught my eye, in general. And it's one of those that you look at it and you think to yourself, "Wow, you know, he had a lot of." He could do things, even cut videos in. So every time you do a video, and you had the collaborator would have their little thing, and it would go back and forth, and it was very scripted.
Yeah, well, because they couldn't meet up because they all lived in various different places, right?
Yeah. And it basically, you know, had those elements to it, but his seemed a lot more organic. You could tell a lot guy. The thing that always I found was he was so natural in terms of everything he did. You know, there was nothing by looking at him, there was nothing he couldn't do. If you watch the guy with the glasses movies, he was always one of those standout characters because it was hilarious everything he would do. Even if he had like a small role to play, he would play it well. It brings out the whole thing. There's like
that's really well made, actually. That obviously took a lot of effort. They did one every year, I think. It was the anniversary movies. That was really well done.
Yeah, Tim said he sadly only discovered him after his passing, and yeah, I understand that totally, Tim. It's something that shook the gaming world because he was someone that most people probably didn't hear of. But they knew who so many gems in terms of his video library. As I talked about the Mario monologues, you know, the Boku Dracula-kun. That one was hilarious because it's like this little chibi Dracula through the levels. Is great as well. There's like he did a video on Gundam Breaker. The I Like Candy videos is what you talked about a little bit. It was only standout videos from that you enjoyed.
Me? The candy one that I remember, I think it was probably the only one that I watched. It was, they got sent a little candy that was like a hamburger, sort of. Yeah. Except it all came in bits, so they had to like put it together and then eat it. It was really, and it was like really tiny. It was probably the size of I want to say a quarter, but you don't have those over there. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was like this tiny little, it's like tiny little patty, and you put a little lettuce on it, you put the bun on. I'm like, oh, it's so cute. And they ate it, and I don't know, remember what it tasted like. It was like gummy candies or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one that I watched, and then I'm trying to remember which other ones I saw. It's been I think just oldies you can play this videos. I really like those. I just marathon them
He also
as
did
much as I could.
a review of the Namco versus Capcom game. If you've ever seen that, I think that was a Japan only game. It was it wasn't even a fighting game. It was more of a Japanese. It was kind of the Batman game. That was hilarious.
Okay.
He did that one
Yeah.
with oh, what's his name?
Mhm.
It's you know what? It's escaping my mind. Linkara. There
Oh.
you go.
Yeah. Oh, I liked him as well. He's the comic guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He does comics and
They
stuff.
did a fun
Yeah.
video
He's.
together. They did that one where they're on and see you. And they just slowly put the phone down and they just give each other this weird stare. You know, it's fun. He was always fun with what he did. He never had any of those moments where you could see him get distressed. He would never get angry. He would never be upset. His pacing of what he would do as well, it would always have a fun message. And he was
Well, you
very,
enjoy what you did, right? And when you
yeah.
do stuff that you love, you rarely get distressed or upset by it.
Chris goes, he was a great video. He loved the Chibi Dracula just because it had an upbeat bloody tears and the vampire killer in it too. He
Oh,
talks about the Namco vs Capcom RPG. Project X Zone is its sequel with the little ones, my friend.
okay.
Yeah, and he goes, bacon sandwich when we pleased him. But yeah, it's one of those you look at it and you think how he celebrated a lot of these games as well. And a lot of these games, as you put out, you would never see them. One of the ones that he did on the barcode review, Scan
Yeah.
This, was the Digimon game.
I have not. I've heard of them, and I thought about trying them, but apparently they're kind of
Well, it's
in terms
the new
of
one
so
on
I never
PlayStation
bothered.
3 is Digimon All Star Battle Royale. I did a review on that. It's not
Yeah, that was
great.
kind
Yeah, it
of
was kind of
okay.
one of those where it's just like it was great if they could have added, because it's a kiddies game and you could tell if they added a lot more elements to it, it would have been a
Yeah,
better game.
I think I'd like it to be an RPG, and the fact that it's not kind of turns me off of it.
This one was kind of an RPG type of game where you could, like the whole Pocket Monster craze was going on. He would be
Yeah.
able to you can put in like your discs, any discs that you have, like music discs, videos, DVDs. You can pop them into your PlayStation with this disc. Take the disc out, and it
Oh,
will create a Digimon for you. So depending on what you
what?
have, it will basically make a Digimon egg. Um,
That's crazy.
yeah, and then you could breed this Digimon. You have to clean up its poop, and you have to evolve. It was frustrating for me when I used to play it, because I wouldn't get past a certain stage because it would die. I wouldn't feed it, or it would be pooping everywhere and it would just die. So I'd have to make another one.
That's
Um,
upsetting.
yeah, it's it is one of those videos where he brought back a bit growing up. It was one of my favorite games because of the Pokemon craze, and because I couldn't afford to buy Pokemon on the Game Boy at the time. We got
Yeah.
that. I think we got it by trade. A friend of ours traded it to
Oh,
us. But it was a fun moment. Um, you know, and but when he talks about that, I remember it because I'm an old guy.
yeah. You'll have to explain that one.
It's basically a barcode scanner where you could get like scanners of barcodes of your cornflakes,
Oh yeah.
magazines, DVDs, and you scan these
Mm.
barcodes into the barcode battler. And what it would do, it would up the stats of like your creature in the game. Chris goes, Monster
That's
Rancher 2 was an amazing one for the PS1 one, and you had an OP Ninja Kato. God bless modded PS1s. I had Barcode Battler. Yes, Cramptonite. Tell us what your experience with the Barcode Battler is, because it's good. I remember the commercials for it as well. It's like, it's crazy, it's new, it's the Barcode Battler, and you'd have like the fucking barcode, and this kid would like flail around and stuff.
Maybe they didn't have this in Australia. What year was that? I'm also 7 years older than you,
It was
so.
released in the 90s at some time. I think it was like 90, 92, 93.
Okay, I was too young to remember that then.
Yeah, it was one of
I
those
was like,
LCD type things.
yeah.
Yeah, and Chris goes, he really wanted a park.
Aw.
But he does talk about that. And there are variations of it. There are cheaper variations. He has nearly every variation of the barcode battler.
Oh, jeez.
And what he used to do at the end of the scan this thing, he would actually battle out certain barcodes. So you tell him what barcodes that he at the end of the show.
Nice.
Yeah, and Crapdot says it was great. It scanned 2 codes so you could fight other people. That's exactly
Oh,
right.
okay.
So we could fight one another. So say like if Sarah had her bottle of Lucasade and I had my bottle of Pepsi Max, we could fight our barcodes to see which one was tougher. And Crapdot was actually saying, he goes, it didn't work with new barcodes. That's annoying. That is really annoying. But they released other variations of it. You got like the Barcode Battler 2 that came out. Didn't sell as well.
I don't remember this, so whatever it did, it probably didn't do as well as.
That was very niche. The only way you could
Yeah,
find it is if you actually sought it out actively and looked for it.
fair enough.
But it was one of those where I find it very. I found it very these like barcode battlers and stuff. He would do the whole thing with scan this and I remember he talked about. Yes, early days Skylanders style. I agree. And Mike says, I'm 29. I never heard of it. I'm 33. I'm Mike. I'm 33, and I remember it as a kid. Maybe
I'll be in between those 4 years then. I don't know.
Yeah, 80s, £90 on release, and I think you can pick it up on eBay for about 30 now. You can. I don't really want one now. Right, be right back. I've got to do work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of an early day Skyland style. Like with Skylanders and Amiibos, and you can add them into games and basically like the Amiibos, I would say would be an updated version of the Barcode Battler, because the Amiibos you have to buy Amiibo figures to unlock content, certain content for certain characters. Yeah, it's a.
Well, they're going to include one, possibly with copies of the game as well. They're going to give you a Mario one.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just normally.
But yeah, he used to do like certain videos in his characters. Yankee J. He used to do a lot of panels as well. There was one, I think, a Magfest panel he wasn't able to go to, and people don't.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of stuff through his YouTube channel, as well as his Blip channel. But I think he left the Blip channel alone once he left that guy with the glasses, which is really more different types of tech in a sense. It wouldn't just be that you can play this stuff. He wouldn't just talk about the SNES or the PlayStation or game consoles. He would talk about different tech and stuff and what it does.
That's a good idea.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now this one.
My friend talks about that a lot.
Yeah,
just the actual the anime
kind of
itself.
where he got the Yankee J character from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a fun. Used to do him that kind of the Boston accent in a sense. Why Mike says, imagine having to buy an old barcodes. I can see scalpers now. Crown Knight says, I think it should come out with a new one that uses QR codes. That would be interesting. That would be very, very interesting.
Quite good. Except QR codes kind of died a little bit as well, didn't they?
WhatsApp system, and you can
did not know.
Yeah, it's basically WhatsApp on your browser, so you can use it on Google Chrome. But in order to actually log into it, you have to use a
like that.
Yeah, it will give
I just use it anyway.
It'll give you a code, and then you got to type the code in, and then it will allow you to use the WhatsApp that you're using on your phone. But
yeah, that's a little unnecessary.
Yeah, Roy Mike says, if they do QR codes, I would get a tattoo with the win all code. Yeah, I would too. I'd get it tattooed on my butt cheek. So no, and then they would have to go and deal with the smell. Another game that he did that he did a review on, which was Ram a Hearth.
Okay.
Another one that's very nostalgic for me because it was a game that I played as a kid. And we managed to get a hold of this, and we got the Japanese cart. However, had friends who didn't understand the value of certain NES, like Super NES titles, and they would just come over, and one of them was selling like a box of carts,
Oh yeah.
and he basically it had Ram a Half in it. So luckily enough, because we had the adapter, because we games from because they don't really do support the PlayStation 3 and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Called For Your Eyes Only, based on the James Bond
Oh
movie, or Super Nintendo, that would allow you,
yeah.
if you just popped the your region cart in there and then pop the Japanese cart in there, it would get around
Nice.
the system's lockout chip, so you could play.
Cool.
And also it would downscale it as well, so it would play like PAL. Um, and it was one of those when he was talking about the game itself and he did a review on it. His style of review was always he would talk about the game first, talk about the graphics, the sound, and how easy the game was to play or how hard it was to play, and then he would have like
Yeah.
a GIF image of the pad on the screen, so it would tell you what buttons that you needed to play and how the
Yeah, that
games.
was really useful.
Yeah, and he used to basically do a lot of useful things in terms of his videos to exactly how you could
Play
play
them.
the
Yeah.
games. Yeah, and if it could be a you can play this, I think it wasn't a you can play this. Um, I'm just looking at other games that I saw from him. Yeah, he did the Splatterhouse Wanpaku Graffiti, which was the NES version of Splatter. Was it the NES? Yeah, it was the NES version of Splatterhouse. It was kind of chibi. Um,
What
no, no,
like
Count Tonight. You had the two plastic tabs over in the United States. In the UK, we actually had the lockout because the cartridges, the
oh
Japanese carts were the same as the UK carts, but because we
damn.
went from PAL to NTSC, it wouldn't allow you to downgrade the game, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, it probably just pushed the tabs down, so there was no real technical aspect to it. It's not just that; it would convert the NTSC to PAL, so that's why you needed the UK game and then the Japanese game, so it would convert it. Over in the States, you guys run an NTSC now, but it's, you know.
Yeah.
And Chris says QR codes Battler for iOS and Android. Yes, that would be awesome.
Yay. Yeah, because your phone can do that as well, I
Yeah,
think.
60 to 50 hertz,
Yeah.
I believe. That's correct. Rewind Mike. It basically you would have to convert from 60 hertz to 50 hertz, and the only way to do that is if you had the power game. So I used to use my copy of Super Mario World, which I completed the entire game. I actually was testing all my old systems the other day, and has every single save that I've actually put on that game.
That's actually pretty impressive after
With
like
everything.
what 20 years, yeah,
Yeah,
25 years.
it's the only game I've completed. I got the cart originally when I was 13, so
Okay.
yeah,
20 years,
20
okay.
years, 20 years. It's been 20 years since I first got that cart, and I got it with the Super Nintendo. It was packaged in, and it still works like a charm.
Yes, I played on. I think it just died of age. It's Australian though. We actually have one of our own, but we had to sell it when we moved to
Pringles.
Canada.
Rewind Mike says once you pop, you can't stop. Pringles, potato chips.
Oh, now I'm hungry.
You're
Now I
hungry
want
now.
to be.
I'm joking. Go and get
Oh,
yourself
well,
something to munch.
I can't go outside anyway because it's raining and I feel sick. So.
Oh, you can't go outside. Um,
No.
yeah, and he does like. Yeah,
Sorry.
he would talk about like on some of the pipeline videos, viewer mail, who was very very fan orientated. You know, he would make sure that everybody was heard. If you sent him a video, if
Okay.
you sent him a game, if you wanted him to acknowledge you, he would. Oh, and that's something you rarely get.
Yeah.
I think I can name on one hand a list of YouTubers that acknowledge their fans, and I can probably name on like my toes, and it would take I would have to basically get YouTubers who just don't give a monkeys. Um, you would also have like he did like a Mario's pipeline video, top 5 in 5 co-op games. Um,
Okay.
So this was kind of the pre-pipeline in a sense. Um, you know, oh yeah, you can hear this music video.
Oh,
And he also, and it's a great thing to have someone who did that. Why Mike says it was nice hanging out, guys. Sarah got me hungry now. I'm going to eat and film a pickup video. Have a good rest of your show. You too, everyone, Mike, and thank you for joining our stream. And Cramped Night says, I'm eating the last of my jelly babies. So there you go. He's got a sweet tooth because of us.
Tom Baker's, do you want a jelly baby? But he'd do it in the voice of the evil guy from Highlander, so it was really terrifying.
Do you want a jelly baby?
Yeah, pretty much like that. He sometimes do it to Mom, and we're like, Dad, what?
That just reminds me of that episode of Friends where Joey's got the hernia and it's a toy for you. He goes, no, you've got to you've got to do it. You sound too dark. He's like, okay, and he puts his hand in his pants. And he's like, Timmy, I've got something for you. You just look at an extreme weird paedophile. So that just came to my head. Chris said, a few YouTubers I've contacted say they won't promote, to be honest. No, I agree. If you believe in what you're promoting, at the end of the day, I've always said this, and one of the issues I had with Doug Walker way back was when he did the whole, you pay him, if you donate money, he'll promote your YouTube channel,
Wait, what? I did not know about that. That's...
Yeah. And he started promoting people's YouTube channels, but he did it sarcastically.
Oh, wow.
He wouldn't even watch their videos. He would just like, look at this. This is a trailer. This is a trailer of someone. This makes me want to buy a cat. And I just sat there and I was like, that's the group who did it. Were a bunch of people that were kind of paid a very sizable sum to get the shout out, and they're like, oh, we did it for subscribers, and I'm just like, you don't need to do that.
You were right. Yeah.
Look after your mama, son. Yes, exactly, Chris. That that episode. He would come on your live stream, or if you wanted him to, if you asked him nicely to do something with you, if he had the time, he would do it with you. And it bugs me the amount of guys who would sit there and go, I'm not going to acknowledge people, or I'm not going to acknowledge you unless you contribute to my Patreon, or I'm not going to acknowledge you unless you're someone who can do something.
Right. Even me with my art page, if people weren't looking at my stuff, then I wouldn't be getting commissions, or I wouldn't be getting anything.
Yeah, and it's a lot of YouTube started was basically a community-based thing. It was word of mouth. People would, if someone saw a good video, they would tell their friends, and their friends will take a look at the videos. And people who think they're entitled, who will go on your videos and who will troll the crap out of you. I've seen it.
I hate those. There's way too many of those kinds of people.
Yeah, and I've posted a few of them. I remember one guy telling me, "Am I loyal to the Queen, or am I loyal to that disgusting terrorist faith known as Islam?" Just because you kind of get those kind of people, and you sit there and think, "You're really simple."
Yeah.
And Burhan has a purdy mouth. Thank you, Cramp Tonight. And it's you can understand it, but I think there's a lot more. I'm going to give a shout out to Random. Hey Mike, is it possible you can up your volume a bit? Cheers. Yes, Greg Best, I can do that for you.
I think the microphone's as loud as it can go, so sorry guys, I'll try to be louder, but I'm trying not to lose my voice as well.
No, it's not. How's that, Greg Best? Let me pop. I'm gonna go closer to my microphone.
That's it. Yeah, does that? Yeah. No.
So yeah, it's one of those things where you, as a YouTuber, Mega Ran talks. Gracias, cancer. Buenos dias. the whole, the whole thing with Megaran, he always sits there and talks about his fans and how amazing his fans are and how great
Yeah.
people are, to share things. If you're like a YouTuber, if you're a musician, if you use the internet and social media, and Jew Wario was pretty much the same way. Justin was a guy who would acknowledge his fans and who would talk to people, and you could see it from his live streams. You could see it exactly from everything that he does to his content, to the amount of viewer input that was in his channel. And he would even have to the point where people would like, it's a big thing. And I think we're losing that now. We're losing a lot of what made it kind of special, what made YouTube special and what made the whole kind of internet gaming community special is that we acknowledge each other and that we love each other, we respect each other. It's become more about how,
but in the large scale, I can see what I'm still fairly new to the whole game community as we know it. Yeah.
well, it's not just that, it's just the fact that as people, it just seems Burhan is really good at talking with fans and talking to people, especially about crappy times. Oh, thanks, Cram, tonight. I hope I don't complain
That's
too much.
very true.
Yeah, I hope I don't complain too much.
Eh,
But sharing is caring. And I believe that.
yeah.
I believe everybody should share. If you're having a bad, shitty day, come to me. I'm on Facebook, facebook.com, Michael Burhan. Come and talk to me. Tell me how your day's been. Tell me if you're having a bad day. If I've got a moment, I will sit down and I will talk to you. And I will acknowledge you because you are important to me. Each and every one of you out there, you are not alone. There is no point suffering alone. Because if you feel that no one cares, I care for you. I love you. I love each and every one of you, and you people make my day. Each and every one of you. I've got like 306 subscribers on my channel, and each and every one person who's subscribed are people that I love, I respect, and I care for. If you're having about something, I'll do it, and I think that's what Justin did, and I want to honor his memory to do that. And I'm since last year when he passed and I made that video saying that you are not stupid, that you are a great person, and if you need me, come find me, and I mean that. And don't suffer in silence. And the boy's there for people, and when he needed us, we didn't know. And that was the shame.
Because he didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we will never find out.
Exactly. Chris says the community is not what it was in gaming and socially overall. 10 years ago, a majority is now look at how big my collection dick is. People used to help each other and be genuine. Who are genuine, you are the coolest motherfuckers out there. Big respect. I'm mashing. Who wants a brew? Cramptonite says that was the first video I've watched of yours. I know. I remember you approached me about it, Campton. I remember I did that video. I had about my Facebook page blew up. I had probably 30 to 40 friend requests. Me and said, I'm having a bad day. I'm suffering from depression. Can you talk to me? And I generally did, and I do. Not many people come to me anymore. It's a shame, but I'm putting it out there. Yeah. New Year's resolution 2015. I'm putting it out there again. If you want to talk to me, come talk to me, and I would most definitely sit down. And if it's something that we can't resolve there and then, we can resolve it another day. And all I ask is for those who are suffering, be strong. Don't be strong. If you can't be strong for yourself, be strong for me. Because I appreciate you. I love you. I don't want anything to happen to you. And self-harm is never a good thing. Being in a situation where you're so desperate and you have that fleeting moment where you think about...
It always gets better.
Yeah, it does. Sarah's been with me through like 2014, and she's seen me have my ups.
Yeah.
She's seen me have my downs, and she's seen me at my lowest of lows, and it's been the point where I've been there. I've been at that point where I've been so desperate. About a moment, because we're sharing, I'll share a moment with you.
Yeah.
There was a moment when because I'm a father of four, I am divorced. 2010
Oh God, yeah.
was one of the worst moments in my life. I was in the middle of university at the time. We kept fighting. It was a situation where not only her but other people were making me feel like I was alone, that I had no one, and I was useless. She finally ended things and told me to leave. I locked tablets. I went to sleep. Everything was blurry, and I thought that that was it. That I would, I could finally end my life, that chapter of my life, and end everything. And luckily enough, I got up. The next day, I was awake, a bit slow. I couldn't, I wasn't very coherent, but I managed to get my stuff, look myself in the mirror, realize that there's a bigger plan out there for me. You might not believe in God, you may be an atheist, whatever religion you believe in. There is a plan out there for you. There is a road that you need to walk. And I realized that there was a road that I needed to walk, and I walked it, and I picked myself up. I'm probably still not the best. Financially, I'm still not the best in terms of career aspirations, because I'm always very hard on myself. But I'm still here.
And 5 years later, you're doing pretty well, actually.
There's always a plan. There's always something out there, and I assure you, it gets better. It does get better. If it didn't get better, I would tell you right now. And people out there, the relationships change. I dumped a whole load of people who weren't there for me, who were just, soul suckers in a sense, emotional vampires.
Yeah.
And
They don't even sparkle. It's really disappointing.
Yeah, and I embrace those that I love, haha. But he goes, I'll be legit and share. My depression was hard. I took around 30 paracetamol and 30 ibuprofen to OD. I stared into the kitchen knife for 30 minutes before I passed out on the tablets.
Oh.
And that's how hard it gets. And, it's... We all think that it's never gonna get better, but it does. And yeah. Chris, look at you now. You're doing so well. You're someone I would say one of my closest friends, and you're doing everything. Your life has gotten better. You guys, I was 17 that the future holds.
Yeah, I do that for myself.
Yeah, well, we're all still here. And the thing is, my situation, and I think Chris's as well, it was dumb luck that saved us. That was it. It wasn't by any miracle. We didn't change our minds. It was dumb luck. And that's if you ever need to escape, come live with me. Crampton, I think I would. I think I will. I'll take you up on that offer, my friend. And that's the thing. You don't need another person to validate you. You don't need things to validate you. But sometimes it doesn't matter who they are. Sometimes I sit there and vent to Xander, and Xander Scully from the Nexus Gaming podcast, and Xander just sits there and listens. Sometimes Xander vents to me, and we listen. And I'm here to listen to each. If millions of people went onto my Facebook and asked me to talk to them, I would. Love is more of a powerful tool. It's more of a powerful emotion than hate. I hate the word I hate. If someone sits there, the first words that kids learn is I hate. I hate this. I hate you. And it's a shame, and you think about these, these human beings with their bright eyes who are ready for the world. They see everything as beautiful, and life takes that away. People take that away. And all it takes is one person. You could be working in retail and your manager realize that you're a human being, or you're out in the street and some guy hits you or barges past you and doesn't realize what they're doing affects you. Or you have like the wife or spouse or someone who's going through their own stuff, sit there and tear you a new one without trying to communicate with you. It's hard, man. Life isn't fun, you know. Life should be about going out on the street and singing. I sing badly, but I sing out in the street. I embarrass a few of my friends.
Why aren't there more what is it? Broadway musical numbers.
Yeah.
I went to New York. There were none. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I was supposed to see depression as a weakness in the flaw, which is the worst thing to see it as. Talk to people, even if they don't want to. Force them to listen, and maybe they'll understand a tiny bit. That's the truth. One of the last things I did with my dad before he passed, I made him listen. I told him everything he did to me, every negative thing he did into my life, and everything he did that caused my depression.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
You are too stubborn to die cramped tonight. You know that. But it's yeah, go on.
Well, I just thought if everyone else was sharing their kind of stories, was it okay if I shared mine? So I haven't really said it
You have
much.
The floor, Miss Mortimer.
Okay. Okay, since we're on my stream, hi internet. I try not to name names, but in high school I had a friend in grade 10, and he was an international student, so he came up from Mexico and stayed for a year. We were really good friends, and we tried dating, tried dating long distance, didn't work. Self-esteem issues, inferiority complex, don't know why it happened, probably just because I was a little sister. And after my friend left, we were trying to date for a little bit, didn't really work. And then I started getting messages from him being like, I'm really depressed. And I'm like, what? Because he was so happy and stuff when he was here. So long story short, because I was his girlfriend at the time, but I had no idea what I was doing. And I kind of got pulled down with him. And by grade 12, I had kind of stopped hanging out with all of my friends in grade 10 because I was hanging out. Not really. We all kind of went our separate ways, and everything just kind of went downhill after that. My sister and I were getting on each other's nerves because we work better when we're living apart. We're fine. We're really good friends now. And basically, my friend took me down with him unintentionally, and it got to a point where I was just stopped talking to mostly everybody that I knew. And there was one day after school where I stayed behind out of spite because I got in an argument with my sister. And I hadn't realized she'd left school already because it was after school. And I accidentally left my phone on silent. They thought I'd gone missing because I hadn't really talked to them and my parents were away. So they found me, it was okay, and I walked home, but on my way home from school there was, do you know the overpasses on the highway where it's like a bridge and then you look down and it's like more street? I looked at that, I kind of looked down at the street below and I kind of looked at it for a bit, kind of for 3 seconds, thought about what would happen and if I went over it, and then I just was like, nope, I'm going home. So I never actually tried anything, but I got to a point where I'm like, this is wrong, this is really, really wrong. And then I thought, okay, well, I have to fix this. I tried fixing it on my own for the next few years. It went okay. I had a really bad relationship about 3 years afterwards, after my first friend, so that didn't really help. So I've been kind of battling depression on and off since I was probably this year, I think, or no, 2013 I got therapy for it and then never took any medication. Took therapy, and then last year I actually was just like, you know what, fuck this, fuck everything, I am awesome. My boyfriend says it to me every day, my friends say it, and I'm actually doing, so I'm like, I'm doing pretty good stuff, and if everyone else says it, then maybe I'm doing something right. So decided I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna start listening and there are still days where I still get like, eh. Burhan knows. Sometimes I'll come up to him and be like, I'm having a really bad day. I don't want to get out of bed or do anything.
Yeah, or she's having a mental breakdown, and I'll sit there. She'll be like, "You're gonna hear it, okay? I'll sit here and hear it."
No, my breakdowns have actually been very, very good.
Or there's been a few where you've been like, "Rah!"
A few,
Yeah.
Yeah, but for like 99% of the time, I'm doing a hell of a lot than you think it will. And teenage times suck anyway, so high school's awful.
You know what? People are awful. I will point that out. People are awful. People can be really mean and hurtful.
Chris says that can affect your mental state as well. Anyway, what did Chris say?
Chris says also it was really cool when idiots tried to insult me due to my weight, and when they saw that I could move on the machines, it's kind of ha ha ha. Yeah, no, I agree, Chris. One of the things that used to help me was I was very sarky and I was very funny. You know, when I used to get, because I was bullied my entire life. From school to secondary school to home to work, and when people tell you that you're not,
most of mine was just me telling myself. So it's actually crazy how powerful that can be, though.
Yeah,
it's scary.
Well, when people lash out and hit you, you feel it. You know, and you know some people weren't really that great in terms of punches and stuff, but you would feel every bit of it because, and they don't mean it. As I said, it's a powerful word. One of those situations where it kind of it brings out, like, society, certain elements of society brings out the evil in people. Like one of my recent issues I had where people would fly. I'm Mogul descent. You can see it a lot with my eyes. I've got Mogul eyes.
They're so pretty.
I'm so pretty. And I come from like the Mughal Empire. You know, my family, my descendants are all from there.
Yeah, racism's dumb.
Yeah, we're mountain people, so we get a lot of hair on our backs. It's one of those things that you can say when it comes to people, and the more you say it, the more vicious. Another that no matter what happens, words are just words. They're not. You know, they're not something that will aim to hurt you or aim to hurt anybody else. They're just there because they're angry at their own situation. Maybe it's just basically because they like you and they don't know how to actually get angry and scream at a girl, "I like you, okay?"
So very much. I don't like you. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Chris says, I was talking to a friend who was bullied, and we were both talking about the bullies and how, like, drink issues or whatever, drugs, sorry. In a way, it feels like justice to know the hate that they projected onto others is now in their life. Yeah, it's because it consumed them. It's consumed them, and it turns you into a really bad person, and you feel bad, and it's not. We've got Cramptonite here, Mr. Paul Crampton. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Would you like to tell the little story that you put in the chat there about you?
I didn't care about it that much. I mean, honestly, I felt those people weren't worth my time.
Yeah.
A lot of people need others to validate them, and validation's nice. But anyways, people at the bar or the pub, wherever, and they'd apologize or buy me a drink and say sorry. And I never understood. They needed the flaw that they thought they created years ago. I mean, they needed to give back that what they thought was something they took from me. Yeah. I thank them for it.
No, but I agree. It's one of those things that you sit there and they want validation from you because they want to know that they've done something positive with all. Don't see it as like it's not too little, too late, but you've got to acknowledge, your part in it. Don't sit there and try and it's
especially stick to them for years.
Yeah, and I've had. I remember one of the things I basically I'm making at university, one of the guys that kind of, you know, made my life hell in a sense, because he had this whole, he kind of had this Mean Girls mentality. Nice guy,
Oh,
you
fun.
know, I enjoyed, you know, him, but the person he was hanging with felt that they needed to make my life these people, to help me, to validate me in a sense, and assist me with completing my degree, and they refused to. And he came to me recently and said, "Oh, I know you're doing a TV show. I want to be on the writing team." And I just went, "Well," I
I
went,
remember that.
"Thank you, but no thanks. If you've
Yeah.
got a partner, that's not happening." And he kind of knew why, but it wasn't because of the fact that he was, an ass in a sense. It was more just the fact that I couldn't trust him. You know, if I can't
Exactly.
trust you, and it's,
People have to prove themselves to you before you can trust them again.
Yeah.
yeah. Mm. Chris goes, when he comes down to London this year, you can see what I used to be able to do on dance machines, if you're free, haha. Trying to meet loads of people, have you, you know, down here in London, and we can do our thing. Um, but yeah, no, I agree with you, Paul. You know, I agree. The whole thing when it comes to people is, you can't think this happened from high school. That doesn't work like that. If you want to put an olive branch out and it's eating you up inside, let them know, and let them know how, you know, sorry you are, because you could make their life just a little bit more easier to handle, knowing that you're not that person anymore. And but it is a shame. It is a shame what, you know, what people have been.
The other thing is people need to get over things that happen in high school, both
Yeah.
sides. Whether
Yeah.
you, because the truth is high school, we're all idiots. We are. We all have done dumb things in high school.
Yeah.
Some of them were mean. Some of them were.
And that's the big thing here, guys, is don't let situations like that consume you. Don't let hate consume you. Don't let, depression consume you. It's never gonna help you in the long run. It just demotivates you. It will destroy you. What you would call a chronic depressive, to the point where I will go on. There will be days where I'll be on downers. Days where
Yeah.
I'll be really happy and very social, and, I would basically just want to stay in my house because I don't want to go anywhere. I can't deal with life and with
Yeah.
people, on not kind of in just discussing, one last thing. Now, the reason was because of the fact on January the 23rd last year. Now, I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to talk about it just a little bit. And it said it was a very sad heart. They died on Thursday, January 23rd. Today's Friday, and the next year will be Saturday. I'm not going to go into the details about what happened. Now, his last recording was a song with Jonathan Mann. I don't know if Jonathan knows. He recorded it the night before. Remembering to breathe. I want to share with you what Chaplin said to me. It was a momentary mistake. And that's what you've got to think about, guys. It was a momentary mistake. What happened to Justin was because he felt there were people out there who loved him, who cared for him. Justin, to wherever you are, if there is, you know, a heaven out there, I definitely believe that you'll be an amazing person. We love you. Hopefully we can make this a yearly thing where we can, you know, congregate and talk about the impact that you made in our lives, and still going to pass on his message. Depression is something that you can never take lightly. Embrace friends, your family, everyone who loves you. To Jenny, if you ever stumble on this stream, to have shared this stream with every person who was in the chat, with every person who is sitting here talking with me now and sharing their stories, just to let you know, I'll do. And to every one of you out there, if you need to talk, I will leave my Facebook at the bottom of the link on this video, facebook.com Michael Burhan. Come talk to me, come find me. Depression's never gonna get the best of me, and I promise you I will always make time for each and every one of you. Now, is there anything that you guys...
I'll speak just first then, is that I hope everyone figures out what they need to beat their issues, whether they be depression or other things. They need to any way they can.
I think also be patient, because getting through stuff like that, if it actually is a thing to get through, it takes a lot of time. So if you find yourself getting better, and one of the actual good things about having anxiety or depression is you recognize the signs of it. So I found that if I find I'm getting depressed, not that great, I know what happens. When that does happen, don't feel bad. Hit the giant reset button. If you find you need therapy, go to therapy. If you find your medication might work, go to a doctor. Everybody is out there to help you, and lots of people have gone through this. So if you need to talk to someone about it, and if you do want to talk, I'm on Facebook as well.
And Chris says, Justin, you are a respected member of the community and we will always be missed. Salute. We said we're not doing any promotions on this. We're not going to basically promote anything. This is all just basically to speak candid of a great human being. Now, we'll end it.
You can play this.